privacy. We need evidence. But when the government set up those regulations, what are their evidence? Are the current regulations legal?
Okay, so the report, in the terms of reference of setting up the committee, it was very clearly stated that the members of the working group would see the report before it was published, and that secondly, the report would represent the recommendations not of the chair but of the committee. That didn't happen, as it's been explained to you. The chairman actually made his own recommendations. So about the evidence, he put in some 50 Cochrane reviews. I don't know if you know Cochrane reviews, but they're summations of evidence base. And he actually put in 50 Cochrane reviews, which he said showed there was no proper evidence base for Chinese medicine. Okay, now, two of those reviews, two of them, weren't on Chinese medicine at all. They weren't on herbal medicine. They were on diet, and another one was on yoga. So they couldn't even get that right. The second thing is that actually we found, as it happens, that 50 Cochrane reviews were published not very long ago in a reputable medical journal on dentistry. And guess what it showed? That there was no evidence using those Cochrane reviews for any single thing currently done by UK dentists in their practice. Okay? So we wrote to the Cochrane people and asked them for their point of view about the way that the Cochrane reviews have been used in this report. And it's an extraordinary thing. The chair of the Cochrane review said to us that he couldn't respond on behalf of Cochrane because Cochrane couldn't have a view, but he wrote a letter which we've sent to the minister. And the letter says very simply that there are many reasons for giving statutory regulation, including the need of the public to have access to safe practice and properly trained people. And he said the Cochrane reviews are probably not the best way to do that. And so we have a letter from the Cochrane review itself, albeit from the chair of it, actually saying to the government, come on, this isn't a proper piece of evidence. So it just shows that the whole way that this was done was actually a betrayal. And if you ask me, which you haven't, but I'm going to ask myself, why did it happen? I'm going to say that actually we have a problem with conventional medicine, not with individual doctors. Whenever I meet individual doctors, they say, oh, we're really interested in what you're doing. But when you talk to the Royal College of Physicians or the Royal College of practitioners, general practitioners, you get the same result. Oh, well, you're not proper doctors and you can't practice medicine. We're the only ones really licensed to practice medicine. And actually, there was an economist who wrote several papers, he's called Milton Friedman, in which he said the whole of medicine's regulation is a bid by current practitioners to prevent anybody else becoming licensed to practice. And I think we have to be aware that this is a political problem, not really an evidence problem. We have to produce evidence, but we must be politically savvy and we must get the public to push on our behalf, and then I think the politicians will listen. They have in the past.
Thank you very much. Finally, I'd like to share my thought about the regulation. I've been thinking now, regulation, now we are talking to UK government, but we are just like a platinum, single platinum. And I don't think it's really an equal level platform to talk each other. Because we platinum, we are dealing well with the public and the patients. We have good relationship, we have good result. We got 1/3 of population in the UK to see occupant, to come for occupant for the treatment. So we do our job fine. It's our job as a practitioner. But on our shoulder, we put us on. We said we, on top of that, we need to go to talk to the government to regulate Chinese medicine. And then we worked so hard for over 15 years. But now I feel if we only use our own own strength, like be too weak to talk to government. So that's why in May I went to China. I went to see the minister in the Tcm section in China government, Mr. Yu, and that I report to him. I said it's too hard for us to do it. So China government China government have to talk to the UK or Europe countries government to government talk face to face, and they set up the certain law and makes a structure, and then makes the law of the regulation. So the pharmaceutical company or the doctors here, they can't like argue or the fight over with us. So now the China is getting stronger, and the government is more open, and they're willing to do that. They said, yes, good idea. Said, why you don't invite the Western, like your UK, the government or health minister, come to China to visit, to see our Chinese Tcm hospital you visit. What's that like? It's totally different, because like 19 Chinese medicine university, we have 20,000 students. But like me and like Charles Barker and Mike Martin, we were under Penny and we worked so hard. Sounds like we have good clinic and we have college as well, but compared to China, it's only nothing, just a drop of water. It have no strength. So we need to involve the China government to come. So tonight, the president of Nanjing Chinese Medicine University, Professor Tse, is coming, and yesterday he joined our gathering dinner for conference dinner, and he also mentioned that he's willing to set up China Tcm Culture Center in the UK to promote the clinical research and education, to make more government aware, can be more acceptable what is Chinese medicine, and then make them too interested to talk to us. Now we just beg them, talk to us, regulate us. So how does that happen? So that's what, as Pei says, it's so difficult. We just like a little child, we can't do anything. So now, and the good news is the president of China, Mr. Xi Jinping, is visiting in UK in October, maybe in Manchester. We have the chance to talk. And also, it's not impossible. And when I made a report in China to Mr. Minister Yu, he said, if you make this. Yes, let's start the second session of the TCM regulation in UK and Europe. And Professor Tingjun Wang is going to chair this session. He's the academic.
To this guy, these practitioners, in 2 years, I feel much better, which my GP or the specialist, they said it's not possible. No one can help you as far as we know that. So talk about the evidence-based medicine. This is evidence. But the most tricky way is, as TCM practitioners, we are not allowed to tell our patients, you don't need to visit the GP. You don't need to go to the hospital. It's not allowed, at least in Netherlands. We're not allowed to say this. But for the individual patients, they can say it. So some of our patients went back to their family doctor, to their GPs, went back to the specialists in the hospital to inform them. We also encourage all of our members to write down the successful cases of their treatment to give to the patients, ask the patients to deliver to their medical doctors. So it works. No, not as quick as we expected, but it works. We get very positive feedback from this. I want to behave myself to manage my time. So I think in short, my point is to make the progress of TCM legislations. Probably we should work from the foundations, from the very basic foundations, which are our patients. Thank you.
and good morning, Manchester. I traveled almost 20,000 k's from Australia, right down the south, Melbourne to Manchester. This is my first time visit Manchester. I have two purposes to visit that city. Number one is to support and to congratulate your success in Chinese medicine development in this country. The second purpose is try to share my soccer skills with Manchester soccer players. I believe my soccer skill is a little bit better. And in Manchester supporters here today. Soccer supporters. Oh, that's better. Oh, okay. All right, I'll talk to you a bit more after the conference. So, back to Chinese medicine legislation in Australia. You may have heard the story from Professor Lin. You been experiencing in Europe is quite similar with the Australia experience. So I'd like to share that with you and how we get the point we achieved today. In 1989, the federal government of Australia also released an act. It's called Therapeutic Goods Bill, called Therapeutic Goods 1989, which is classified Chinese medicine practitioner as herbalist, which had many restrictions about the normal Chinese medicine into a high standard level. Number three, to introduce and invite parliament members of your own country to visit China to see the real Chinese medicine practice, how Chinese medicine practiced in a high level rather than just in a small private clinic. So that's my recommendation to you, and I wish you every success. And when I'm coming back next time, not only play soccer with Manchester, I will hear more from your success story about Chinese medicine legislation in Australia, in Europe. Thank you.